Knut Abraham, you are the coordinator for German-Polish Intersocietal and cross-border cooperation. Right. This week, Poland has implemented border checks after Germany began rejecting some asylum claimants in May. Important really to stress just what these border checks mean for the free movement of people. What do you understand, and does your government understand Poland's response?
Well, it is understandable because the Polish population, as the German population, is expecting the governments to act, and installing border controls is a way of giving in to these expectations. But this will not be the solution. So it's a heavy burden for the regions around the border, and it's even a threat to the economic lifeline which we have to the east, this Autobahn 2, this motorway 2 or 12. So it's a mixed picture.
The Interior Minister, Alexander Dobrindt, said he welcomed the moves to impose border checks on the Polish side. Is this part of the domino effect that the German government was hoping to see when, in the election, it said it would take a tougher approach on migration? Is this part of the domino effect?
Well, I wouldn't say that we expected or wanted to see a domino effect. The point is that we wanted, by introducing these border controls, make very clear that the migration policy in Germany has changed. And it is very important on a global scene for people everywhere in the world to understand that Germany is not welcoming every man, every woman who is looking for a better life. That was a wrong impression, but it was sent out by all these friendly people welcoming the refugees of 2015 and 16. So what was needed was not a domino effect, but was a clear signal, a clear symbol. And insofar, these border checks, these border controls, are serving that purpose. A domino effect is happening automatically in a way. So what was welcomed is that at the Lithuanian-Polish border, there have been the first cases of human trafficking stopped by the new measures. But in the end, the solution for the migration challenge is in fostering the external border controls. But on the way to achieving that, it is necessary to have these national border checks.
As I mentioned, this is about border controls in the Schengen area, where at the moment you have this free movement. Are we going to be? Is this the end of the Schengen area? I mean, you talk about it being temporary, but how do we know that?
There is a certain danger that when these controls will be prolonged and prolonged and prolonged, that Schengen will de facto be neglected. But this is our task as politicians to uphold the original idea, and that is very important because the free movement of people as goods and services is the basis of the common market. So it's not just an add-on, nothing of luxurious character. It's the basis. So it is very important by now introducing these border checks that it's provisional, and people see that it's provisional and understand that this will last only until the moment we have, and this is where we should put our political weight on, where we have a European approach and a solution. And that is not too far away. You see, there is an agreed reform of the asylum system, but of course it remains to be seen whether that works. And to be on the safe side, we are controlling.
I want to focus just on the German-Polish border because it is obviously where your interests lie.
Yes.
And at the moment, these checks, though, they're hugely disruptive. There are communities that are crossing the border every day. They're adding delays. Is it sustainable that this can continue like this? I mean, What's the plan?
Yeah,
How long? I mean, how long are these checks going to last? Because at the moment, the German government is saying until September. But they could extend them.
Probably it's not. You don't need too much political fantasy to expect a prolonged period of border checks, border controls. But we have to make clear that it's only provisional. And say that, and people will check it, because it's human behavior to somehow get used to it. But we should not accept that national border controls within the common market will become a new normality. The political weight, again, should be in the European solution.
The aim then with these border checks is to send a signal.
Yes.
What is the signal that you want to send?
The signal is that Germany has taken back control of immigration, is really determined to stop illegal migration. As this is not possible in a sufficient way to do at the external borders, we see the numbers. So we understand a reform has to be implemented. We are going back and protect our national borders. This is the signal, and it should really deter people from coming to Germany.
So there's the one aspect is the external borders. I want to come to that in a moment, but before that, why is it not possible to carry out joint border checks with the Polish?
I think that this is quite a useful and a positive idea, and I'm sure that there will be talks between the border authorities how to really regulate traffic, and joint border checks could be an idea, and especially as we still have the previous lanes there at the border. But the problem again is the people might think that we are going back to the 90s, in which there was still German-Polish border. So it is very sensitive to use the old border guard barracks and these special lanes and so on. But I think it is one way of easing the consequences of the new regime at the border. Could be, but of course you need two partners willing to do it.
But the German side is still interested in negotiating these hinterland checks with the Polish.
The German side is very much interested in doing joint border checks at one place. And in another perspective, we are, of course, very much interested in having this hinterland, checks also in the deeper territory of Brandenburg and other border regions. Because people who once made it through the border should see German border authorities also in the hinterland.
Okay. There are critics here in Germany of the measures that we're seeing from the Green Party especially, saying that the situation on the border is causing immense damage to Europe, and I think it's a real criticism about the impact that it's having on this joint shared unity among Europe. We also know that Friedrich Merz talked about restoring relationships with European partners, and then you have this conflict on the border.
Yeah, we should keep that in mind. There is a point in not giving up the European idea and the European reality of free movement of people. But we were elected for introducing a new migration policy. And this is what we are now doing. And to make this clear, again, it needs the symbol of taking back control of our borders.
With the regard, I think a lot of people are wondering, if you've got two conservative leaders who see eye to eye on this issue, i.e. that they share a similar worldview on migration, that there needs to be a return to control, how can they not sort it out among themselves to get this done behind in the back office rooms without it looking like a public spat or a public dispute or a conflict?
Well, the issue has been discussed between Merz and Tusk already at the very first visit of the Chancellor. On the very day of taking office, he went to Paris and to Warsaw, and it was discussed. But of course, the governments have to serve the national audience, yeah? And our voters, our people are expecting no more influx of refugees coming from the east, and we know, of course, the way they are taking via Belarus and Lithuania and Poland. That is the expectation of our voters, and of course, Donald Tusk has his audience at home, and there the Polish opposition, by also some private groups, were initiating some observation posts and so on, to hinder Germany sending back migrants to Poland.
Are you talking about these vigilante groups that we've seen pop up on the border?
Yes, exactly. So the authority of the Polish state was put in question by these groups, and so for demonstrating the authority of the administration and the government, Poland was, of course, deciding to introduce these additional border controls too.
As someone who is tasked with trying to repair relationships and forge these bonds between two of Europe's biggest countries, Germany and Poland,
yes,
how difficult is your job right now?
Well, I feel a lot of support. It's a great success what we have achieved in these 35 years, that these historic regions were growing together again, and people know what is at stake. We have the university at the border town of Frankfurt an der Oder, so there is so much to lose if we do not respect our European compass. And so I feel a lot of support with that. Also inside the government, I very much welcome the approach of the Minister of the Interior, Alexander Dobrindt, to hold a special migration summit with the neighboring. That's the right spirit, to discuss it with partners, and the German-Polish relations are very stable and will come over this difficult moment in which we are.
What do you expect to come out of this summit? Can that be a pivotal moment in the story of Europe's kind of handling of the migration story?
It will not be a pivotal moment for the EU, because the participation and the invitation is limited to the neighboring countries of Germany to explain and to discuss these necessary border checks which we are discussing too. So this will not be a major step on a EU solution, but one step on a longer way.
Knut Abraham, thank you very much for your time.
Very welcome.
Thank you.